Hey everyone, and welcome back to Small Screen Sagas. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I'm talking about the show from Season 2, Episode 10, entitled Once Upon a Time. And if you've been listening to the podcast, hopefully you have. I did mention that my husband, Gary, who does other shows with me and podcasts a lot with me on other shows on our Verdicts In feed, would be joining this episode. And I'm very happy to say he is here. So, Gary, introduce yourself.
I'm Gary. I'm Cooey.
I'm Cooey. Yeah, thanks for being here, Gary. You've been watching the show since season 1 with me, as well as season 2.
Yes.
So you're always here in the background watching. You just haven't been on the podcast.
Right.
Why don't you give your overall thoughts on what you think of the show as a whole?
Yeah, I'm always in the background talking mess, giving my 2 cents here and there. The show as a whole, I love it. This is giving me Lost vibes. I know everyone's been saying it for the longest since it I think did people say it season 1?
Yep.
Well, towards the end of season 1.
No, I think we said almost from jump since season 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's the Lost vibes that it's giving me. But the show is excellent, great, and this episode, I think this was good for a season finale.
Yeah, I think it was okay. I mean, some things I would have taken out just to give us a little more action, give me a little. I wanted to be scared, because when I first heard about the show from, I didn't have any intentions of watching. But what kept drawing me in is keep seeing that picture with Harold's face on it, Michael from Lost, aka Sheriff Boyd or Sheriff Stevens. And I was like, fine, I'll give it a try because I don't like being scared. But I wanted just a little bit of scary. And
more scare jumps?
Yeah, just a little bit. And it didn't give it to me this week. But I still enjoyed it.
I think we got it.
What was scary? I mean, maybe those kids aren't scary anymore because I've already seen them so many times. Like, you just get used to it. Like Chrissy said, it's normal now.
Well, I think we got it with the dummy. When he walked to the cave, we saw the dummy again.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have scared the crap out of me.
Oh, yeah. In real life, it would have scared me. Watching in the safety of my own home.
I don't like dummies. It scared me in the safety of my home.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people talking that it reminds them of the R.L. Stine, the ventriloquist. There's that R.L. Stine story. And yeah,
right.
I definitely get it. So.
And we got it when the kids showed up. When they had the 7 kids show up on the slabs.
Yeah. Yeah. That wasn't really that scary, though, because they kind of eased in there. So it wasn't that scary.
No, that scared me. You know what? As soon as he went into the cave, I was scared.
I was scared for him, but I'm like, it's Jade.
I was just uptight
What's
the
going
whole
to happen
time.
to Jade? He's a fan favorite, so nothing's going to happen. All right, so how we do the podcast is we're going to talk about the different storylines, different characters. We'll start off with Tilly. That's the elder lady that was on the bus, and she gave Christy the liquid morphine. She's dying, but she seems to be perfectly fine. Since she's arrived in Fromville. Now, this week, we see her leading a group of people at the Colony House, out of all places, in prayer. What are your thoughts? Are you suspicious of Tilly?
I'm not. And I know you've been saying stuff about her from the beginning, but I'm not suspicious of her. That's what I'll be doing at that time. I mean, my knees would be sore from praying so much. And this is the perfect time. What else are you going to do? You can't sleep.
That's true. And I'm surprised people didn't act even more crazier for not sleeping. Like, I get grouchy if I, just had 2 less hours of sleep and they had a whole day of no sleep.
Yeah, but I think they have more on their mind because they know eventually they have to go to sleep.
Right.
That's a scary feeling.
Maybe be able to make it like one more day, but I don't even know how many more days. Yeah, it's very hard to stay awake.
I've been sneaking naps here and there.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, Nicole.
Yeah, just watch me.
Watch me for an hour.
If I start shaking or moving or talking, just wake me up. Splash water on me. Do whatever you have to wake me up.
Yep. And then I give you your hour.
Yeah.
And we just go back and
forth.
Just
an hour, yeah. I thought that. Like, why don't they, because when I saw little Ethan, I was like, why don't they let little Ethan go to sleep for just a little bit? Let him fall asleep for a little bit. He's a little kid. And then, yeah, if you see anything funky going on, wake him up. Because is that not what they do in, like, Nightmare on Elm Street? Like, Freddy Krueger, don't they just have to wake him up, typically?
Yeah.
So.
If they're there, I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street's something different,
Yeah,
like,
that's real scary.
Yeah, that's scary.
That's scary, yeah.
I don't want to bring nothing back from my dreams. But you know what? This is giving me Nightmare on Elm Street vibes.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they can't go to sleep right now. Whatever happens in their dreams is happening to them in real life.
It hurts them in real life.
In real life. And we see that it kills somebody, which I have something to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Paula. That was Paula.
Yeah, because that was extreme. Like everybody else, it just did a little this or that to it, but
they weren't sleep. That's so whatever she experienced is different than what Julie, Mariel, and Randall was feeling. Because remember, Randall was running and then just the cicadas attacked him and he was on the ground. So it's not like they were asleep and it happened. She was actually asleep and it happened.
But I'm talking about Elgin and Kenny. You know, both of them had dreams. They were asleep. Kenny, all he had was a bite on the arm.
Yes, yeah.
Elgin, you know, he was in a tub by himself. So he fell asleep in the tub by himself and almost drowned, but he was able to get out of it.
Okay. So then why did that happen to her? Why did she go full death and then they were able to be were woken up?
Well, his story really doesn't make sense, if you ask me. Because, I mean, he said he tried to wake her up. He said it happened right in front of my face. So you're telling me that she was the only one that couldn't wake up?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're making sense. I kind of sort of forgot about the Elgin and Kenny, their dreams, and they were able to wake up from it with minor injuries. You know, Elgin was drowning when he woke up, or he had spit out water. Kenny did have a burn mark or bite mark, whichever one you call it.
Right.
But Paula, for whatever reason, didn't. Maybe Sarah is more connected than we think. And I don't know if you listened to all my episodes yet, Gary, but I really don't like Sarah's character. So I kind of have some thoughts on that. We'll table it till we get to her, because what you're saying, like, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, what if the place, the From, they don't like Reggie and Paula because they were mean to Sarah. I mean, I know it doesn't make sense, but that's all I can think of. It's like, well, maybe they were like, fuck it, we ain't gonna let Paula wake up because she was really mean to Sarah. But a lot of people have been mean to Sarah, and now I always say nothing better happened to Kenny. That's my number one. So he was mean to Sarah. So hopefully I'm wrong on that. All right, but Tilly gave a prayer. There, we did talk a lot about religion. We'll get to more into it later on with Boyd, because I do have some thoughts on that, and I'm gonna be careful with my words. I definitely don't want to offend anyone or say anything that's wrong, but I do have some thoughts on the whole religion aspect that's tying into the show. Or it's not really a religion aspect. It's just religion as a whole, you know, tying into the show.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we get Dale and Donna. They go out. Dale is just, you know, complaining as ever, like, why he was an asshole. Why we even have to look for Randall? And Donna's like, asshole, if we're not helping assholes, then, you know, you're an asshole.
Yeah, when I watched that, I thought to myself, that is the most American thing that I've seen on television in a long time.
You said that when we were watching.
Yeah, that's just me, you, that's everybody, that's America all day.
It's okay for me, but not for thee.
Well, not necessarily that. I mean, he found any reason. You were just locked in your room, my guy.
Right. You just stabbed someone a couple days ago.
You were locked in your room, and you telling me that being out here to look for him is better than being locked in. In fact, he said it. He said, well, I guess I should be glad to get out of my room. Yes.
Yeah. Dale is funny. I mean, I have no problem with Dale. He's an asshole, and, you know, whatever he's going to say. It's like he acts like he didn't do anything wrong, but
that's just the thing. I mean, just any reason to complain about anything, good or bad. We can complain about, find something bad and something good.
Yep. And Dale will have a reason.
And Dale had a reason.
Now, one thing to note here is Donna said the silver bullets didn't work. You know, they find Randall out there. He's alive. You know, he's kind of like Mariel and Julie. But they say, hey, there's no dead monsters out here. Meaning Boyd shooting those monsters did not have the same effect that it did when he killed Smiley.
And I didn't think it would.
Why didn't you think it would?
Boyd killed Smiley with his blood.
Oh, so it wasn't just the worms. So it was blood involved too.
Well, I think he had the worms in his blood.
Okay, but what if the worms are in the bile?
No, I didn't like it from the get-go. Them thinking that putting the bile on some bullets would kill it. If anything, Boyd should have tried his blood again, which, I mean, may not have worked. But Sarah still have those worms, and she's still communicating, and everything is still going on with Sarah. Why hasn't anyone talked about that yet?
There has been some disagreements online whether those were really worms in Sarah or if they were veins. There's so many discussions online. We've watched the show. We've watched it and rewinded it so many times in the background talking about it. it looked like worms, but now I don't even know because people are like, no, those are just her veins. Like, and it's just, her veins were strong and that's what you're seeing. And then the words wrote on there. So you're thinking you're seeing worms, but there were no worms in Sarah.
I'm calling bullshit on that.
Okay.
Those were definitely worms. We rewind it.
Yeah, we did.
Fast forward it. Paused it. Those were definitely worms. And let's say they weren't.
Yeah.
We know that Sarah's connected somehow to this. I would think using her blood will be more stronger or more powerful than using the bowel of something that doesn't have blood.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, this thing right here is already dead.
That is true. It's very different from putting that into the Smiley versus putting, having it into Boyd. So yeah, maybe they should have used a live subject to do this. But at the same time, Sarah may be willing to try to redeem herself. I don't think she's willing to sacrifice herself to go out there. But at the same time, I think in the second episode, whenever she left the door open, she had to leave the clinic after dark. So I'm not saying that she's, invincible to these monsters, but she has a better chance of anyone else going out there against these monsters.
I think she is. I think she's invincible because I don't think she fears these monsters. And her not wanting to leave the house or the little rock figure.
Yeah.
Her not wanting to leave there after Boyd tried to pull her out and going back in shows that she's not really scared. She just wanted to go home.
To her real home in real life.
Real life. She's ready to go home. She's ready to get out of there. But I don't see that fear in her.
All right. We're going to get more to Sarah in a little bit because she was a big part. Her scenes were really big. So let's discuss Christy and Kenny. Although they only had one scene together this episode, I really liked what Kenny was saying. So Kenny comes to Christy's room. She's taking care of Muriel. She mentioned she is getting worse. And she's like, is this how it ends? Like, after everything we've been through, is this how it ends? And she thought there was supposed to be, like, a bigger purpose. Like, I thought this was happening for a reason.
Yeah.
Which I get, and that's why I do not like the expression, everything happens for a reason. Yes, something can happen, which can lead to something else happening, but everything happening for a reason, a kid getting killed happened for a reason. Yes, that kid might got killed, which had a ripple effect and some other things, something positive may have came from it. But you can't tell me my kid died. Well, everything happens for a reason. So I don't.
But that's factual.
It may be factual.
It's factual that everything happens for a reason. It doesn't have to be a good reason. It could be a bad reason. But I mean, there's a reason for everything, and the reason may not have anything to do with you.
That may be why I don't like the saying, because it's like, what did I have to do? Like, I'm just walking down the street and someone hits me. Oh, it happened for a reason. That experience is going to make you do X, Y, and Z 10 years from now.
I feel you on that. Because I hate when people take things like that and try to talk about like it's an experience. Like, you will learn next time.
Yeah.
You'll learn next time not to drive next to a drunk driver.
Yeah, like, wait, what? Exactly. Right.
But I think the saying is true. I mean, it's not a good reason, bad reason. I mean, but there is a reason behind everything happening. And it may not even be your reason. It could be something someone else is doing.
Okay. Well, that leads to later conversations I have with Boyd. But in this scene, I really liked when Kenny was like, maybe we don't get to go home, but it will make it easier for people that come next. And that's just another reminder of why Kenny's such a good person. Like, he's saying, like, you know what? He's like, we may not be able to get to go out, but look we found the talisman. We figured out different things. We figured out how to lock windows. So we know a lot more that can help the next group of people that come here. We might die, but at least the talisman will be here. They'll be able to survive the night.
Yeah.
And that type of thinking is pretty much the opposite of Dale's thinking. When you said American thinking, I feel that about Kenny. When Kenny said that, I was like, yes, Kenny's such a good person. But you think about all the things now that's been talked about in society. We'll take student loans. That's a big topic right now, has been for several years. And a lot of people's argument is like, hey, well, I already paid my student loans. Why do somebody else get theirs paid off? And it made me think of Kenny. Kenny would never say that. He'd be like, yo, I didn't get my student loans paid off, but we did the work. We grind for it. We pushed for this change. And now these next generation, they're going to get their student loans paid off. And I know that's not the same thing, but that's what I thought of. And I just reminded me of how much I like Kenny.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the exact same thing.
Great person, great character. Don't let anything happen to Kenny.
And Kenny's dealing with a lot. He's dealing with the passing of his father, knowing who killed his father.
And that she's there.
Last week he had to watch her.
Yeah, this week he interacted with her. He had to help her. And like almost, I know he was probably feeling conflicted. We'll talk about it in a minute, but like having to feel sorry for seeing her break down, but like conflicted, like this bitch killed my family, but then also like seeing her go through that.
Yeah, I think he's seeing the bigger picture. He knows there's something happening, and he doesn't have the slightest clue about it. It's just everything. It's just like I know if I was there, my brain would be like, "Wow!"
Yeah,
like it'd be so scrambled because none of this makes sense, and Kenny has to deal with it. Like I said, the loss of his father, being there with the person,
being there with the girl he loves, who's now with her fiance.
And I was about to name that next. Okay. The girl that he fell in love with while he was there. Now her girl is there.
Yeah, now he's, giving her sympathy, showing her empathy and support, and, being a shoulder to cry on.
When he's the one who really needs it.
Yeah. Love Kenny. All right, so we got some love this week. Ellis and Fatima get married in their own room. So that's like the quickest, cheapest wedding you can possibly have. Like, some people get married in their backyard, some people get married in their home, but they're like, nah, we gonna get married in our room. Meaning right afterwards we can consummate the marriage if we wanted to. But I really love this scene. I loved both of their vows and just the love that they had from one another. And one thing that Ellis said in his vow was like telling Fatima, you are the light to my dark. Like you bring light into my darkness. And that was a reminder of Boyd to go on and do his next step. But what did you think about this wedding scene?
I wish they would have brought more people into it. There's a lot of people that can't go to sleep right now. They're up. Their minds wandering all over the place. This would have been good for the community.
Yes, I saw someone else talking about that online. Like, after everything that's going on, why wouldn't they have the wedding like outside where they can invite all of Colony House and the town and have something where they can concentrate on something else besides something they have no control over?
Right, a distraction.
Yeah. Wrong time to have a quiet, small, intimate wedding. All right, let's talk about Jade. So we see Jade at the very beginning of the episode. He's telling Boyd, there's so much they don't know. And the trick is to find two pieces that are connected. He sort of told, I believe, Tabitha last week or a few weeks ago, he was saying the chaos theory. Two things that may not seem like they're connected. They are. I don't know if he really meant the chaos theory in this case, but he's saying we got to find some connections here. And then that's where you have a place to start. And that's when Boyd left off to go see Sarah.
Yeah, and I agree with him.
Yeah, I do too. At the beginning of this series, I talked about how Jade was an asshole, but I always said I liked his character. He's fun. He has that sarcastic little humor. I enjoy his character.
Yeah.
And you can see him changing. Like, yeah, he's very disheveled right now. He's a mess physically, but mentally he is maturing. He's doing stuff right now. I don't think he's trying to get out of here just for himself. Like, I feel like he's trying to get out for everyone, which is what leads him to going to the tunnel. But before going to the tunnel, let's talk about his conversation that he had with dead Tom at the bar.
Yeah, Jade is a little too calm for me. It's like we had a conversation with dead Tom. I mean, it seems like he's not stressing anything anymore.
I think Jade is like, okay, I know I can either let me go crazy. Because even he tells Tom, like,
right.
This is an episode I'm having right now.
That's it.
So I'm not going to go crazy. I already know this. I've seen things. I've seen a dead Christopher from Victor's past. He's seen the dummy talk now or scream at him or whatever. So yeah, he's playing it chill.
Yeah, he told him, I could either engage with you or I could ignore you until you go away.
Exactly. And they engage. He goes, Tom says, you already know what you have to do. It's about how far you're willing to go. And he keeps talking about Julie. Like, this is a 16-year-old girl. And even Jade earlier said, like, she should be at her prom. She should be having fun. Like, this is a great time in her life. Now, one thing that Jade said that made me think back to the conversation last week with Christy and the magic ball of fire, how the sun and pregnancy, all of it's weird. We're just used to the sun. We're just used to pregnancy. Because he says nothing in this place is natural. And Tom goes, wrong. Nothing here is familiar.
Right.
Imagine if the world we were used to, having to go inside at night or whatever because the monsters come out. I mean, if you think about it, it may be sort of an explanation or some type of weird artistic view of the real world. Donna mentioned before, there's monsters in the real world, or it was Fatima, excuse me. I mentioned, hey, there's monsters in the real world. These are just different monsters. And in this case, yeah, maybe in the real world here, we don't have to go in at night because specific monsters will get us if we're out. But at the same time, yeah, people do come in the house at night. What are you doing out so late? Can your kids be out at midnight or can they be out at 12 o'clock in the afternoon? What's the difference? You still make them come in when it's safer. So I think some of the things that we're seeing in the Fromville is just a very far-fetched of our reality here in the real world.
Well, it's a weird reality. I agree with some things are natural, nature, like the trees are growing, the sun is setting, grass, there's dog. Well, we only seen one dog, right? Or
yeah.
We've seen a couple of dogs.
I call him Vincent from Lost.
Oh, okay.
That was the dog on Lost.
But I can see that being natural, but that's it. I could never picture a world where monsters coming out that you can't harm, but they can harm you. Where anything can harm you, but you can't harm it. I can't picture that type of world. That will never be natural to me.
It's not technically natural, but it's because, like you said, you can't picture that world because you haven't been in that world. But think about it. We have armor. We have things that can protect us. If you shoot at someone that has a vest on, or whatever, I forgot, with the bulletproof vest, you're not gonna be able to hurt them.
Well, I'm talking about in this world in particular, in the From world. Because they're not walking around with bulletproof vests on. You just can't kill them.
True. And then one other thing I like that Tom said is, like, you don't make moral choices, based on the outcome you expect. You make it because it's the right thing to do. And I like that Tom was still Tom, even in Jade's mind. And which shows you that Jade is a good person because these are his own thoughts that he's telling himself.
Are they?
Well, that's what we think, or that's what they think. They're like, oh, I'm just tripping. I think I see you here. But who knows? If someone pops up, they would have saw Tom too. We haven't technically seen anyone, even when Boyd's seen different people, Father Khatri and his wife, no one else is ever there to see if they see it as well.
Right. But I don't think that was meant for anybody else. That doesn't mean that it wasn't really happening. He may have thought it was in his mind, but everyone sees their own individual thing.
True. Just like Tabitha saw the kids, no one else saw it.
Right.
It doesn't mean that was in her mind. She did see the kids. Now Jade has seen the kids. So yeah, it's possible that these aren't in their mind, and maybe no one else would have seen it, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't real.
Right.
Well, after that pep talk with Tom, Jade does convince himself to go to the tunnels. And I like when he was going inside the tunnel, he's like, fuck my life. Like, he's so mad. He's like, this is the stupidest thing you're doing, but you got to do it. You got to be brave. And what were you going to say?
I feel him.
Yeah.
Because he pulled up in a limo.
Yep.
So he was well off.
Yeah.
Where was he going? Was he going on vacation?
Him and Toby, they weren't technically in a limo, but they were in a very nice car. But him and Toby, they just sold their company. They pretty much cashed in, and damn, like this happened.
They're about to go live life.
Yeah.
So if this is living life, or this is what life is right now, fuck my life.
Yeah. So we see the kids laying on the rocks in a circle. They're saying the Ananuku or whatever. Ananuku. Say it, Gary. How do you say it? Ananuku.
No, it's Anakui.
Anakui.
Anakui. Anakui.
I wrote it down. I'm like, write it out how it's pronounced. And I'm like, but as soon as I see it again, I'm like, nah, I can't remember how it was pronounced. So Anakui. And Jade looks up. He sees this symbol is like sort of the top of the ceiling of the cave. It's sort of an opening. There are no other monsters in the cave, and the kids disappear. And there were a total of 7 kids. Like, the kids keep multiplying at this point.
Right.
Because when Tabitha first sees him, for the first 2 times, they're 2 kids.
2 kids, yeah.
Then when she goes outside the tunnel, and they come and meet her outside the tunnel, I think last week, there was 4 kids. now Jade sees them. There's 7 kids. Like, what the hell are these kids? How many kids are there, for crying out loud?
Man, there have to be a lot. And I wonder, are these 7 it? Or are there more? Well, we know there's more. Because we see this little young kid that we're following all over the place. In white.
You're talking about the boy in white.
Right.
Yeah. Well, unless he's one of also the Anakui kids, like the monster kids, and we just don't recognize him as a monster because he looks so different. Yeah. But I thought Jade was very brave to go in that tunnel. I don't think I would have been able to do it. Like I know it'd been the right thing to do, but I just, my fear would not even allow me to step foot in there.
See, my biggest fear already happened. My biggest fear is not being able to go to sleep. That's happened.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it wasn't for that, I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm not trying to be the person to discover anything. I'm that person that you see on reality TV, like in the real world, that you don't really see because I'm asleep all day.
Yeah. You're the Dario on from the challenge.
Wake me up.
Right, wake me up when y'all figure this shit out.
Y'all figure something out.
Yeah. Because I don't want to get my hopes up trying to investigate and this, and then you just get let down, and then you do it again, and yeah.
Yeah, that's not my role.
Yeah.
Like, my role is not that person. I'm not the angry person.
Yep. I'm not the conspiracy person. I'm not going to, be skeptical of every single thing, but I'm not the helpful person.
Right, because this right here is really happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if y'all excuse me, I'm about to go take a nap.
All right, let's talk about Boyd, Sarah, Kenny, and then we'll also dive into Boyd and Reggie. So at this point, we'll probably just go in order. And then we're going to end it with Tabitha. Don't know why. No, I'm just joking. So we'll end it with Tabitha. So the episode starts off with Boyd staring at the floor where Julie was screaming. Only reason I bring it up because I thought it was stupid that he was staring. Like, when it was showing him stare, I was like, oh, what's going to be there? And then it's just the floor. I'm like, did he come in when Julie was still on that floor? Or did he come in the morning when they had already moved? I mean, he had to come in the morning. So was Julie still on the floor right there? Or did they move her upstairs? I think they were just a little too heavy-handed on this scene. I know it's quick, but I just didn't like him staring at that floor. Like if a blood stain was there or something.
Well, you have to understand that Boyd is still in conspiracy theory mode and trying to figure things out. So I understand him looking at the floor. He probably went and looked at every single area trying to make a connection. Like, what is the connection here? Is it because he was standing in the spot? If someone else was in the spot, would it have been them? Like, why these 3 people?
Okay. That makes sense. So as I mentioned, Boyd says, hey, we need to go talk to Sarah. And that's when him, Sarah, and Kenny, they go out to where Boyd first contracted the worms.
Yeah, that's nasty.
I know. That's all I can describe it as. He contracted some shit, okay?
Somebody gave... No,
yeah,
someone
gave him the worms. They
Right.
weren't clean. They weren't tested. I don't know. But Sarah doesn't know the melody. She's not familiar with that melody that Bacta knows. But she says, yeah, the little boy, she believes he was trying to help. Although she says she doesn't believe he really is a little boy. So before we get to the rest part, when she said that, you're like, what are your thoughts on her saying she doesn't even believe it's a little... I mean, obviously it can't be a little boy. He's been there since Victor. So it's a ghost of a little boy or...
Yeah, he's been there since Victor, probably before Victor.
Yeah.
And she probably doesn't... She's probably hearing him. You know, she's talking to all these things, stuff getting written on her. So he probably doesn't even sound like a kid to her.
That would freak me the fuck out. Right when you were talking right now, Gary, that I was getting scared. I'm like, hold on, that's scary. A little boy, but he sounds like a grown man.
I mean, he probably sounds older to her. I mean, she's hearing what's going on out there in the forest, hearing voices and stuff.
What if that little boy has the voice of a man?
You know, that would be creepy.
That'd be so creepy.
But also, I mean, he's probably so knowledgeable. She's thinking that, okay,
true.
I don't think he's a boy anymore because he's telling me about stuff that happened.
Yeah, he's lived a long time. You're not going to still be... That's what makes you more mature. It's not getting higher or getting taller doesn't make you learn. It's time that you grow and learn. Okay. Well, she says she hears the music box and she tries to find it, but nothing appears. But she can hear Julie, Mario, and Randall screaming. She's like, oh my gosh, Julie, they're screaming. And her nose is bleeding. I mean, Sarah's being really extra. Kenny was looking scared. And
extra.
I mean, every time. We never see anybody else. She always, doing all this. Like, I don't know. It's just extra.
She's the chosen one. She knows about the place. But why hasn't anyone sat her down and asked her when it started? I mean, I would have so many
questions. Yeah. Before we even got to the woods, I would have had like a million questions for her. I don't feel like they delved into that deep enough.
Because Sarah doesn't seem like the typical crazy type. I mean, she's able to, let you know how she's feeling. That her conversation's on point. I would ask her some questions like, hey, when did you start feeling this? Where were you at?
Yeah, what else have they said to you?
Yeah. What are you hearing right now?
Yeah.
Are they still talking about me?
Yeah, because when she said they're laughing at you for bringing it back to the town and setting it free, and she says to Boyd, like, the people, she's talking about Julie and them, they're dying, and when they die, it will be too late. We need to make the music stop.
When she said that, I was wondering, too late for what? Will it be too late for them? And if they die, will other people take their place?
What if it goes back to Christy finding Smiley and saying Smiley was human at one point? What if she meant like this is a way to turn them into monsters? And once they turn into monsters, it's too late because they're gonna kill you now, or maybe everyone turns into a monster once they turn into a monster. I think it had something to do with a transformation. Like either those three were gonna transform, and it means it would be too late to do anything to help them. Maybe not everyone else. Maybe she meant it would be too late for them because now they're monsters. Which reminds you that those other monsters were human at one point. Probably.
Maybe.
And when Smiley got on the bus that time and he was playing around with the wheels and tested out, maybe deep in his deep memory, he was remembering like driving a car of some sort in the past.
Yeah, that's a good theory.
Yeah.
I think my only issue with that scene was we've seen a man locked in there, and he was old. He's been locked in there for years, and he was just ready to go. What makes them different from him?
Yeah, I did think that too.
Like, could they have been there for years also?
Yeah, would they have died if Boyd didn't do what he did? Would they have died a week from now, or would they have died months or years from now? Because Martin had been there for years. So why would theirs be expedited and go fast versus his? Right.
And one other thing, the music box. She hears the music box in that moment, and she's saying we have to stop it, or did she say we have to break it?
No, she said you have to stop the music.
So she said you have to stop the music. But we've heard before, like when he was in the whatever that was.
Yeah, with Martin.
Well or whatever. When he was in there with Martin said once the music stops, they're coming.
Yeah. But at this point, everything they've seen, maybe they mean the monsters are... Well, no, he said whatever comes here is worse than your nightmares.
He says worse than what you've already seen.
Yeah.
He said once this music stops, then, yeah.
So maybe Boyd thinks he fixed it, and really the next day is going to be a bigger problem.
Yeah, really like his wife said, you're just prolonging it.
Yeah, well, his wife, we'll talk about that, because I don't think that wife is good. Like, obviously, that's not a good monster. Now, Kenny does not want to go back to town, because Boyd's like, okay, let's go back to town. Like, we can't find the music box and everything like that. And he wants to keep looking, and Boyd tells him, like, we know more now than we did before. What we need to do is help people feel less afraid, like, keep things calm.
That was good advice, and he's right. They knew more then than they knew earlier that day. But there's no way you're going to keep people who can't go to sleep calm. I mean, do you mean we have to go figure out how to keep them awake?
Yeah. He's still trying to play like sort of a secret, but not secret.
Well, I mean, the cat's out of the bag. If you tell me I can't go to sleep tonight and y'all kept me up all night, then I know there's something wrong there.
Yeah.
Like somebody mentioned last episode, how long is it going to be? When can we go to sleep again? So I don't think there's any way. I mean, these people are already probably on 24 hours.
Yeah.
So there's no keeping them calm. I mean, what can you say to keep somebody who can't go to sleep calm, who can't be out after dark, who's seeing people wide awake, just fall on the floor and just
start screaming,
eyes turn white.
Yeah, or screaming in their sleep, because afterwards they start all screaming.
Yeah, so there's nothing you can say. So I was more on Kenny's side there. Like, yeah, although Boyd said some smart stuff, like I said, like we know more right now than we did, but how can we keep these people comfortable?
I agree.
Right. They're not sleeping. They can't go out after dark. I mean, these people are pretty much stuck.
Yeah.
There's no way to keep them comfortable. So I'm with Kenny. I would be out there until I figure something out.
Yeah, let's keep searching, because going back in town ain't going to do nothing.
But make me sleepy.
And I think everyone needs to be all hands on deck at this point. Everyone's involved. Everyone sort of has an idea of what's going on. They may not know all the secrets. They may not know everything. But they know enough to that everyone should be on hands on deck, you know?
Right. Especially when you have families. Because before Tabitha took off, you know, it's Tabitha, Jim, Tiny Tim. I know, Ethan, I know they were there, you know, with their daughter. She was going through stuff. But with me, it's all hands on deck. I mean, Jim, you got to come out. Tiny Tim, grab your crutch. You got to come out. We got to get this stuff done.
Well, I understand at least someone standing behind and watching the people that are, you know, sick or sleep. But other than that, which we'll get to, because Randall had nobody there.
I was just about to say that.
Which shows you, like, damn, in your darkest hour, nobody was sitting at your bedside.
I was just about to say
help
that
you.
When you said somebody had to stay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, stay for what?
Right.
You know, these people are asleep. They're in a coma. Nobody stayed for Randall.
Yeah. That's because he had no one, but... All right, so we see Boyd. He goes to the church, and he asks God if he's really up there. And he said, you know, if he's up there, he's a fucking asshole. And he's like, are you enjoying this? And he tells him, like, even as Father Khatri died, literally his throat was slit, the last thing he did was pray to show you he never lost faith. Never lost faith, excuse me. And he says, but you know what, motherfucker? I ain't here to pray. So I want to talk about this scene, and I definitely want to be sensitive as far as the religion. Everybody has their own religions and thoughts and feelings and beliefs, and that's great. But I kind of feel Boyd in this instance. Like, and I mean, you can take this for real life too, but like, you're telling me there's a God and he's all powerful, and I'm sitting here getting, you know, chased around like I'm being hunted by these monsters. We can't go to sleep. All this bad shit is happening. How, I mean, I am proud or impressed with Father Khatri for keeping that faith, because I would have been like Boyd me before I even got to that Fromville. But definitely when I got to Fromville, like, there's definitely no God here. Look what's happening. So I got that conversation. I appreciate it. I just want to know what your thoughts are on it.
I understand what he was trying to say, and I understand what you were saying. I don't agree with either one of you. There's an order to things, and obviously wherever you're at right now, there's an order to things. Just like there is, like you mentioned, like there's stuff going on the railroad today. I mean, you know, the cows, you know, all animals we hunt and eat. And, you know, all the stuff that goes on now, there's an order to things. There's an order. So maybe right now, you're part of the food chain.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, with bringing up animals, we have to hunt and kill them not have to, but we do hunt and kill them, breed them for killing for our own food source. And we think of us as humans as the top of the food source. But then What if there's somebody, or the chain, you know, what if there's someone that's above the humans, and now they're like, well, you guys are my meat, and I like to hunt you guys. Just like some people hunt for sport. You know, I'm going hunting. Like, it's just fun. Not saying, I need to go look for my food source. They're doing it for fun. And yes, they do eat the meat. And that's the same with these monsters. They like to have fun with it, you know?
There's a natural order everywhere in life. And right now, you're in a spot where you're not on top. You're not on top of the food chain.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like that perspective. Well, Donna comes in, and Boyd tells her what Sarah says. And he's like, I brought this thing back here. He's feeling like shit. You know, he feels really bad.
Yo, Sarah could have kept that to herself.
Yeah, she was like, man, they said you ain't shit. They said that's why you had to kill your wife. They said your son about to get married without you. Like, damn. Yeah. Like,
if you don't come down, Sarah, you get real personal right now.
Right. They said you ain't never going to be able to drive that boat. You ain't never getting out here. So,
yeah, she said it, but you know, Sarah's genuine.
Man.
Nice person, but
you must have missed all my podcasts because I bash Sarah every episode.
I like Sarah.
Nah, we ain't fucking with Sarah.
But when Sarah said, they're laughing at you right now.
And that's what I mean. Sarah don't have the common sense she was freaking born with. Like, I mean, yes, she was just throwing out everything that was happening as is, so there was not a way to say it gently. But, like, I don't know. Like, you kept all the other things that they told you to do. They told you to kill kids, but you couldn't keep this to yourself. So,
right. I'm like, damn, Sarah. Really?
Right in front of Kenny, you gonna embarrass me in front of my deputy?
I brought you back to the town. This how you do me?
Right.
What else they say? What else?
They said you ain't shit and you never gonna be shit. But, okay, so Donna tells Boyd, hey, Ellis and Fatima, they decide they're gonna get married today. You need to be here. Like, come back to the calling house with me. And he doesn't directly come back at that moment. You know, he showed up right before they said the I do. So you gotta give him credit.
But Boyd probably decided to go at the last minute. He probably like, man, I don't have time for these games. They getting married. Face with that.
Y'all playing a play wedding. We ain't got time for this shit. You know?
Let's get out of here and have one for real. In the real world. In our world.
And similar story, not really, but somewhat, happened in Harry Potter. You know, in the 7th Harry Potter book, there was a wedding taking place. And even the movies, Harry mentions, like, I don't care about a wedding. Like, we got bigger shit to fry here. So sometimes, you know, Boyd is like, he gets priority straight. It's not about what he wants to do. It's about what he needs to do.
Right.
Well, he goes back out there on his own. And before we get into that, we got to bring in Reggie because that's sort of part of the story. And that's Reggie. He shows up to Victor's. So, of course, after the wedding, he has to dip out. He goes and he's trying to go back out there. He's on a mission to go back out to where the music box was or where he landed. Now, before we get into that, we need to talk about what led to the events of Boyd getting hurt. And that's earlier in the episode. Donna, after she sees Tilly having her prayer circle, she's like, I don't trust y'all. It starts off with prayer. Next thing y'all gonna be talking about, let's all drink the juice. I don't know. She was like, let's put the guns away. Wait a minute.
Do you think that's why she did it?
I think so. Because she like looked at them doing the prayer circle and was like, hell no. And that's when she went immediately to Matthias and was like, put these guns up.
You know, I didn't think about that.
She's like, we survived.
What's the guy named who wife just died?
Reggie.
We already see Reggie going crazy every 5 minutes. Yeah. Just out the blue, just start screaming. Yeah. You know, I thought that she meant, well, hey, other people are going to start going crazy and we need to have these guns out of here. But you're probably right. Yeah. If you saw
a prayer circle in the middle of chaos, either you would be comforted or you would be scared. Like, what the fuck are they doing praying right now when there's
so sad.
Chaos going around?
That's sad.
That is sad. But then you're going to either be in one or two spots. You're going to be like, okay, this is great, or they're scaring me. And it's no in between.
But you're right, though.
Yeah.
Because if you was all right with it, you would be over there praying with them.
Yeah.
So for the people walking around and not a part of the circle, they probably are looking like, man, we are ready in hell.
Yeah. And look at them, they're just sitting there praying. Like, that might freak somebody out. Somebody else might get comfort from it. But so Donna had told Matthias, whatever, another extra, I think, that we never seen before. But she tells him put the guns away. Somehow Reggie, he finds him because he talks to Ellis earlier. And Ellis is like, yo, this is not your fault. Like, you know, everything that happened. And Reggie's like, nah, you right. It ain't my fault. And like in his head, he's like, it's your daddy's fault. I'm surprised he didn't kill Ellis because that was his Boyd's son. But Reggie somehow goes to the barnyard where they kept the guns, where Matthias went to go put the guns up, which I don't even know how Reggie would know that's where the guns are hidden or where their hiding spot. He just got there. Or did he follow this guy out there?
I think Reggie is an agent of chaos. I don't think his wife or girlfriend, whoever it was, died on her own. I think there was a little help there.
You're sick.
And no, the reason I'm saying that is because I'm not saying that he did it personally, but I think whatever's in Sarah is probably in him. Because why would he follow Boyd?
Yes.
Why would he go through all like why kill the guy inside the gun? If you looked around there, it's not like the place was protected.
Yeah, why didn't you just wait until he went back to Colony House and then you dipped in?
Yo, there was a window right there by the case.
He looks out the window after he grabs one gun. And I honestly was excited at first because I was like, oh shit, he about to go shoot up Colony House. It's about to get crazy. Like Colony House already suffered enough. They about to get a mass killing. That's what I thought was about to happen.
That was the finale.
That's what I didn't think it was necessarily fit. Yeah, I mean, I thought I thought he was going to go and shoot up the Colony House. Yeah. So then when he pops up to Boyd or Victor's van to Boyd, what the fuck? So how did you find Boyd out in this middle of this nowhere where the Victor's van and then you have the nerves to accuse him of being why you guys are in the situation you're in. Reggie, you only been here for a few days. It's been fucked up since you got here. It just became a little more fucked up. But I don't get him following the guy with the gun or even following Boyd.
That's why I'm thinking that something else was talking to him. Something was talking to him. Something because he did too much craziness just to be mad that Boyd can't. Your significant other just passed away.
Right.
And you're telling me that this is on your mind going after Boyd?
Yeah.
Not trying to get out of here?
Yeah, exactly. And then when Sarah said, let's bury Paula, so then if this is your girlfriend or your wife, that means you haven't even asked anyone about her. You had the sense and clear mind to go after Boyd, but you didn't have the sense to be like, hey, I want to bury my wife. It was Sarah, out of all people, that said that.
Yeah. That's why I said I think there was something else in him because he's been an agent of chaos since. Like he ran out screaming.
Yeah.
Then in the middle of the Colony House,
screaming.
He's just gonna out the blue, like he was just chilling.
Yeah.
He was chilling. He does a.
We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die.
I thought that scene was funny.
We can't sleep. We can't go to sleep.
The talisman won't save you.
So everything in him, everything that he's done since then, is like just to raise chaos, just to get people scared.
Yeah, you're right. You are absolutely right. So he shoots Boyd in the shoulder area, and then Boyd does a cool kill and kills Reggie and shoots him twice. I was kind of disappointed because I'm like, whoa, that happened so fast. One moment Reggie's getting the gun, killing this guy. You didn't have to kill that guy. Like nothing else came from it. It's not like you killed that guy and then went and killed Colony House. You went and killed that guy and then you were going to kill Boyd. What was your end game? What were you going to do after you killed the sheriff? You were going to go back to the Colony House where his son lives?
They probably was going to let him go afterwards.
Would they put him in the box?
No. I'm not talking about them.
You mean the show?
No, I'm talking about whoever the monster was. Whoever told Sarah.
Oh, then he would have been doing the Sarah, I'm so sorry. He would have been doing the I'm so sorry train.
They told Sarah that in order to get out of there, she had to kill Eden.
Oh, okay. So you mean the monsters would have let him leave the town?
I'm thinking that's probably what was in his head also. I don't think they would have let him leave.
Yeah.
But
maybe that's what they told him.
Yeah, maybe. And I also think that this is the reason that something was in them, that they were speaking to him. Because how do he know that it came back with Boyd? Boyd just found out that he brought it back. Yeah,
they did just find out. And he's been crazy ever. I mean, it's the next day. He doesn't know anything. So, yeah, you're right.
He doesn't know anything about this. Boyd just found out that day.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, I'm the one who brought this back.
Well, no, when Sarah said to Boyd, oh, they're laughing at you because you brought it back, I think we should have already known that he brought it back because the cicadas came after all that happened.
I think we know as the viewers that they brought it back. No, but
Boyd wouldn't have the inside people, Boyd, Christy, Kenny, Mariel, wouldn't they know that Boyd brought it back?
I don't think so. I mean, all this crazy stuff that's been happening there, why would they think that? Because Sarah came back too. Why do they not think Sarah brought it back?
Because Sarah may or may not have those worms in her. No one has seen those worms. She hasn't talked about those worms. I don't think Sarah has worms in her because remember, Boyd was hurting from the worms. Sarah seems perfectly fine. I mean, yeah, she.
No. I'm saying that Sarah was gone. Also, there was multiple people gone at that time. Anybody could have brought it back.
True, that's true. You're right. Yeah, because Sarah and Boyd went together.
Right.
Okay.
And not only Sarah and Boyd was out there, Tabitha out there at the same time.
Yeah.
Tabitha she was underground.
Yeah, she was underground.
So anybody could have brought that back. So why did he think Boyd brought it back?
Right. So either we'll see more next season, like a flashback of Reggie and maybe Paula, or a different viewpoint. Or if they don't ever bring it up again, then I'm going to blame the writers. Like, they didn't think this through.
I think they thought it through. And I'm telling you, I think that something else was talking to this guy, talking to Reggie. He wasn't just going off the head, finding Boyd and thinking that, hey, you're the one who brought it back with this.
And wasn't that Randall's gun? Because it was in that bag that they originally took off the bus.
Right.
And they told Randall, you can't keep your gun.
Yep. You're right.
Well, Boyd lights the torch. And that is the torch from the same area that he came in. So we were talking about that. We were like, hey, did he get that torch from there? Is this a special torch? Because as soon as he lights it, boom, the building, he's inside. He's inside there.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that torch is what he already took out of there.
Yes, I agree.
And he was just coming back with it.
Yeah, because he went to that night that happened, he went to Victor's van. That's where he just went and got it out of.
Yep.
And instead of Martin and two others being up there, now it's Randall, Julie, Mario being tied up, just like Martin. And Abby comes, or Ghost Abby comes and tells them, like, do not destroy the music box or everyone will die screaming. And she tells them, like, hope is what makes you willing to suffer. The fear does not feed the forest, it's hope. A few thoughts real quick on that. Like, when she said, the fear is not what feeds the forest, it's hope. And maybe they did have conversations, but I'm like, that whole fear theory literally just came up last episode, meaning just that evening before, with Sarah and Kenny.
Well, I think there's two different monsters. There's two different threats. I think with the little vampire-y things that come out at night, I think it is fear.
No, but remember last week's episode, Sarah said to Kenny about the cicadas, how Nathan, her brother, had a fear of cicadas. And she goes, what if this place feeds off of our nightmares? Like how the cicadas are now here, and Kenny, her brother, was scared of cicadas. And maybe somebody else is scared of spiders, and then there's spiders that pop up. So when Abby was like, oh, it's not the fear that feeds this place, it's hope. I'm like, wait, does Boyd was not even part of that conversation of Sarah's theory of saying these are our nightmares that's coming out. Like everything that we're seeing here is different people's nightmares. Maybe like Elgin has a nightmare, his fear is water. And that's why he looked for the lake when he first got there. And now he almost drowned. He didn't like taking baths. So I just was like, wait.
Okay, all right.
Does Boyd even know of that theory? You know, that's what I thought. I
was looking at it more so as in fear because we seen the monsters move away from the bus, right? Mm-hmm. When Randall was yelling at them. They all turned around and left.
Yeah.
That's why I think that fear has a lot to do with them, per se. But when it comes to the forest or whatever else is out there, which the guy said, what's his name, Martin?
Yeah.
Which Martin said, hey, there's worse things than those monsters out here. So maybe you're fighting like two different animals. Like one attacks you because of fear and the other one attacks you because of hope.
Yeah, okay. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Well, Julie and crew, they're all screaming, so Boyd can hear him screaming, and he decides not to listen to Ghost Abby, who's telling him to come back to me again, and he destroys the music box, and that's when we see everyone wake up, and Randos wakes up alone, and I thought of Mario when she woke up, because she seems a little confused, like, what's going on, you know? Do you think this... Okay, two-part question. Because last week I mentioned everything that Mariel had said to Christy when she was going crazy in the calling house. And she's like, this is your fault. This is the reason I'm here. And da-da-da. And I said it was unforgivable. So, with that being said, do you think Mariel, is her addiction, could it be gone? Like, could she no longer have, like, are they going to be different when they wake, now that they've woken back up? Will Randall not be an asshole? Will Mariel not, have that even the want for the addiction? And I don't know what happened with Julie, but, what do you think?
I think they're going to be different, but I don't think they're going to be that different. Like, there's no addiction. There's no this. I think with Randall, he's going to be different because he knows there's something now.
He's gonna be humble
because we don't know where they were at. We just saw them screaming on
or
both
what
sides.
they saw. Yeah, what they were screaming about. Do they remember what they were screaming about?
Right. So we don't know where any of them were at.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure they're gonna all change in their own ways.
Yeah, because Julie seemed still scared. Even when she's like, "I'm fine, Dad," and Jim offered her some water, but she was still. It wasn't just, "Oh, I fell asleep and now I'm up." You know.
I think all of them have regulation of what happened, what they saw.
I think so
because
too.
I don't think any of them woke up confused.
Yeah.
All of them woke up like, looking around, probably happy to be up. But
yeah.
They were probably wishing everything was a dream. Like,
yeah.
damn,
Yeah.
I wish when I woke up in my own bed.
Right.
In my own house in the real world. But as far as the addiction being gone, I mean, something this crazy probably make the addiction worse.
Oh, yeah, I know. As soon as I said it, I was like, well, actually, wouldn't it have the opposite effect?
I think it would.
Yeah. And Boyd goes outside afterwards, and he goes, "You can't break me." And that's when Vincent, a.k.a. the dog, shows up. And I really liked Boyd saying, like, "You can't break me." Like, nah, you ain't gonna break me. You know what I've been through in the regular world? He's a black man that was in the military, very high up in the military, retired from the military, had a white wife. I know he's been through some shit. I know, this
right,
is America.
Right.
You didn't just live your life without anybody trying to throw some hurdles your way.
Right.
So
You're
yeah,
right.
I really liked it when he was like, "You can't break me." Like, y'all don't even know, you haven't lived in America yet,
You haven't lived my life.
You haven't lived my life.
You haven't seen everything I've seen since I've been here.
Yeah, he's been in war.
Because he's the one who found the little relics or the
Yep, the talisman. Which is why when he said, "I brought this back," Donna was like, "Okay, but you also brought," yes, you did, "but you also brought the talisman back. You might have brought something that hurt us, but you also brought things that saved us, and we wouldn't probably be here without you."
Right. So there's no telling what he's seen before that.
Yeah.
Or before we've seen him.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't know what they've been through. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get all their backstory next season.
Yeah, I mean, they keep giving us little pieces at a time. And even with Ghost Abby, I already knew she was bad because when she was like, was it this episode? She said something about like, it was hope that made you go out into the forest when you should have been here for me during my worst hour. And it's like, Abby, don't blame me on your little mental breakdown. Like, don't try to throw it back at me. Even though, in a way, he was the husband, he should have probably been there. But I guess that's where we go to. Everything happens for a reason. He found something else. So
I think that was to play on his heartstrings.
Yeah, it was trying to guilt him, and that's how I think he knew. Like, this isn't my wife, because my wife wouldn't be trying to guilt me for something, like so as serious as this.
But from what we know, because she had been right.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm pretty sure if he had been there that day, Abby wouldn't have died.
No. I'm sorry. I should have been more specific. Mm-hmm. Now that we know what happened at the end, because she had been right, that, hey, just go ahead and just die and be with me.
I'm gonna say I don't believe her, because just her tone of voice. When I don't really believe when people only use fear to control someone or fear to make someone make a decision.
Well, let me ask you the question, because you're not getting what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Do you think the tower was the only way out? What if death is the way out? And that's why she's saying, hey, go ahead and just end it all and come be with me. You're supposed to be with me.
I would consider that, but if that is the case, she's not giving any facts right now. She's just trying to pull on his emotions. If you're trying to tell him, hey, I died and I'm back.
No, I'm not actually about her. Mm-hmm. I'm actually about you. What do you think?
If
do you think that maybe she was right?
Maybe she was right. It's hard to say. It's too hard to say. I mean, if Tabitha, it's possible, because we'll talk. Well, let's talk about that in a moment, because we're about to talk about Tabitha, and we can kind of talk about, did she die? How did she end up where she ended up? But two quick little things, and that is Ethan, when he asked Jim, if we do die, will we get to see Thomas and Grandpa again? And Jim is like, yeah, more than likely. I don't know why he told him that, but you know, Ethan was like, hey, it's not so bad now. So I like the maturity of Ethan. Like, he's already taking this much more better than the adults. He's realized, okay, we might die tonight. I don't want to die, but fuck. If I do die, do I get to see my little brother? Do I get to see my grandpa? So I like that scene. And then he also is the one that realizes, hey, the cicadas are gone.
Yeah, he was the one that noticed that. But also, is he taking over the drawings and the coloring?
Who? Oh, Ethan. Is he going to be the new Victor? Or at least the Victor that draws? I don't know. Ethan's very mature. He could be. He could end up being the new boy in white. You never know.
Well, we see Ethan. We see him drawing a lot now.
Yeah.
Like during that scene, when he noticed that the sounds was gone.
Right.
He was drawing a picture then.
Yeah, because at first I thought he was looking at Julie funny. I was like, wait, is he looking at Julie funny? Do you not trust her? But then I realized, no, he was just realizing the cicadas weren't outside.
Right.
All right, let's get to Tabitha. I don't think Tabitha has ever ended an episode. So, not saying she's not an important character. She just doesn't generally have, like, big storylines.
Yeah, her storyline when she was underground. That was a huge storyline.
Yeah.
Because she actually saw the monsters in monster form.
Yeah, and only told, like, one person. And then just kept saying the children. I keep seeing children. Like, come on. Come on, Tabitha, use your words. Just seeing children? Okay. Well, why don't you invite the kids in the house? Oh, because they're dead monsters? Like, come on. But Tabitha tells Jim she needs him to be okay with her going to the tower. She's had dreams and visions. And what if this is the way? And Jim, being the asshole that he is, he's like, well, I've had theories and that almost got me killed. Well, what does it have to do with me, Jim?
Cut that out. You need to stop it.
No.
So why is Jim being an asshole for thinking logically?
Because Jim is now taking his little one experience, and his one experience, it doesn't mean that he's not wrong. He's still not, let's take off the mole stuff for that, you know, that Randall was talking about. Jim is thinking, hey, what if this is an experiment? What if someone's watching us? There was a voice on that radio. The voice on the radio is still fact. But for him to say, no, you don't try it because I tried something and it didn't work out. So now you don't get to try anything either because my thing didn't work out. So your thing probably won't work out.
I don't think he thinks that. And I don't think he was being an asshole. What he mentioned was, you know, Victor's mother didn't come back. You see that what happened to her. So why would you put yourself in danger? Maybe we need to really, you know, bring this all back in, huddle up, and come up with a plan together, and try to figure this out together. Because I tried this, it almost failed. When he went looking for her, he almost died. She almost died. Why try this?
Well, as Tabitha said, we can't sit here hoping for the best. And in regards to Victor's mother, I will get to that in just a moment. So then Tabitha goes downstairs and asks Victor, can he show her where the tower is? And then in the background, you see Jim roll his eyes. And that's why I don't like Jim, because he just acts like Victor. He just acts like he's better than everybody. And I'm normally not even like, oh, you act like you're better than anybody. Who cares? Normally. But in this case, you're in a small little community of like 50 people. You can't be walking around like you're just like the smartest thing and everyone else has the stupidest ideas. Only your ideas will work.
Well, I'm going to say this. Jim, to me, is the most realistic character on the show. Everything that he got upset about, you would get upset about. If you were to see Victor walk off with one of your kids, you're not knowing Victor, you're going to be upset. If you see one of your neighbors that you know walk off with your kid, holding your kid's hand, you're like, what's wrong with you? There's going to be a problem. So
you're talking about when he walked off with Ethan in season 1, I think. When Victor walked off with Ethan.
Right. What I'm saying is that Jim, the things he's getting mad at is the things that we would get mad at in everyday life. He's not being an asshole. These are things that you would get upset about. And I just brought Victor up as an example. How I know a lot of people are mad how he was treating Victor. Victor's not walking off with my kid either.
Yeah, and that was wrong. I'm not excusing that. Victor walked off with his kid, but Victor has saved his wife, saved his daughter since then. Has he not proven that he's not a danger to them?
He's proven it to us, the viewers, that he's not a danger.
And he's proven it to them. Tabitha even told Jim, like, hey, he saved my life. He saved Julie's life.
Yeah, she told him that, of course. But, babe, no, I don't care. I mean, I don't think our neighbor's a danger to us, but I'm not letting him walk off with my kid.
I get that. And I'm not even calling Jim an asshole for that.
But let me continue.
Okay.
All right. And why I say he's the most realistic character, not only that, is this is how somebody will really act. Like, hold up, you know what just happened? Victor's mom didn't make it back. How do you know that's the thing? Because Victor showed you a picture. So now this is the thing. What are our kids going to do when you don't come back? If you don't come back. So these are realistic things. And looking at Victor, when Victor said, I know where it's at, he reached into his lunchbox and look through some pictures. No, that's weird. Hold up. You're not. It's not like you're drawing maps. You're drawing pictures. He said, yeah, I know where the tree at. Hold on, let me see. And look through his coloring. Yeah, I'm looking at you funny too. So excuse Jim for rolling his eyes at that weird situation.
Well, let's talk about Victor. So Victor, he does get a little lost because the trees have been moving. But he says this is where he found his mom when they finally get to the tree with the bottles. So it's not that his mom didn't come back. She died before she came back. So it's not like they didn't know where the mom went. Like she just disappeared. He said, this is where I found her. And to me, that tells me if he found the mom right outside the tree, the bottle tree or the faraway tree, the reason why the mom probably didn't make it in trees because the little girl came. And so she probably saw her kid and was like, you get your kid in first. And then the mom probably got snatched up before. So in a way, not blaming the little girl, but Eloise coming out there, it's those ripple effects. Eloise going, Victor not grabbing Eloise, where now the mom is with Eloise. She sees her own kid. She can't send her back. She has to make a choice. And she puts Eloise in the tree first. So I'm going to say that Eloise is probably alive. And that's where I hope Tabitha goes. And that also addresses Victor's mom. You know, it's not that she didn't come back. She died. He found her body.
I thought about that at one point, but I don't think so. I don't think any of them are alive at all. I think Tabitha is the first person to make it out. And I think that because the kid said, hey, this is the only way. You gotta go. This is how you do it.
I think Eloise made it through that tree.
If Victor's sister would have went out there, then wouldn't other people know that there's people coming up missing everywhere.
Yeah.
We see people coming up missing everywhere.
Yep.
And then we see a person pop back up that was missing. So if Eloise popped back up, like, hold up, you were a missing kid. You just popped back up. Where'd you come from? You don't think she's gonna have something to say and people around gonna listen?
First of all, no, because Eloise was a little girl. Who knows what
right.
mental capacity she even had when she got back? That trauma that happened, she might be mute. Not to mention, how many people come up with stories today and no one believes them? You hear UFO stories. You hear I got kidnapped from this. No one ever believes them. So yeah, someone tells you they were in Frumville. No one believes them.
I'm gonna tell you the difference. I'm gonna tell you the difference between the people talking about UFO, which I believe. Any story, anything, conspiracy theory, Gary believes it. Just send them to me. But the difference is she was a missing person. She was a passenger on that plane.
Okay, you have to remember, person in the 70s. I'm sorry to cut you off, but a missing person in the 70s, what do you think their resources are that they had of this kid in their family? They might have already been living off the grid. So who knows? They probably found the little girl. She couldn't talk, didn't know where she was.
I moved on. I said you're right about that.
Oh, okay. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said you're right about that.
Okay.
But I moved on to Tabitha. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying that I can see it happening with Tabitha where they believe her because she's one of the missing people. If she's one of the people they're looking for, if she say, hey, my family is still there, this happened, even if people don't believe her, they're going to listen, especially when she start throwing out other people's names. Like, hey, there was so-and-so here, so-and-so. Like, hold up. All these people are a missing thing. That's why I say I think she's the only person to make it out. But you had a good point. If his sister made it out.
Yeah, Louise.
Yeah, she's just a little girl. She was probably born there.
Oh, yeah, she could have been.
Probably born there, so that probably was her home. So
although I disagree with you saying that people would listen to Tabitha. She can come with facts. She can say, hey, these other people were there. You know what they're going to... People, the way the world is, society is today, they don't believe anything. It doesn't matter what you say. Like, just think of the submarine thing. The submarine just blew up or whatever happened to it, imploded. Now, and they're finding little pieces of it, and now you think, okay, that's the end of the story. But now that they found the pieces of it, I see all these theories online like they're lying. They planted those pieces. Those millionaires or billionaires really escaped. They went off to live a secret life or a new life. It doesn't matter what you present to people. They're always going to be skeptical of stuff. So even with Tabitha coming back saying, hey, me and my family, we were gone. Oh, these other names. She might throw those other names. You know what she's going to be? She's going to be a suspect all of a sudden. She's not going to be a victim. They're going to be like, you and your family, you killed your family. You killed all these other. Like, that's the way the world, they're not going to think rationally and listen to her. I think.
Yeah, I think you're wrong.
Okay.
And I think you're wrong because let's talk about the submarine thing. What if in 2 weeks, one of the people that was on the submarine came out, washed up on the shore, and started telling the story like, hey, we got sucked into a hole in the middle of the ocean. This happened. Hey, you know, the passengers on planes, whatever plane that went missing, they're down there. This person, I met Randall, I met this person, that person. Even if there's people that don't believe them, you're more inclined to listen that, hey, maybe this guy's telling the truth. Maybe, he did get sucked in this place and he was washed up. And now he's mentioning to other people, it may not be as important to the public as it is to the authorities. Like whoever's looking that up. Yeah. Like, hold on. Yeah, this is a missing person case. Oh, wait, this is this whole family's missing. This is a missing person case. So somebody who's looking at, and they can't say she killed all those people because they came missing from different places, different states.
They're going to call her a serial killer. And even with you saying the submarine, if someone from that submarine pops up today, people are going to think the whole thing was like a scam or whatever, a hoax.
Well, you missed my point because I said it may not be as important to the public than it is to whoever's investigating, the authorities. It may be more important to them than it is to because, we have so much information running in and out. But believe me, there's going to be a lot of people that listen. Like there's a lot of people who listen about the UFO.
True. I see everything you're saying, and I'll conclude it with, I think people are going to be skeptical no matter how much proof or evidence is in front of them. If they don't want to believe it's true, they're not going to believe it's true.
You're right. But if it happens to somebody and they start thinking like, hold up, a couple of years back, you're so-and-so, you're so-and-so. Hey, your wife is out there. There's a lady, your wife was on the news saying that this has happened. I seen your wife out there.
Okay.
I'm just saying, even if you don't believe it, if you pop up there, you got a reason to believe it then.
Yeah. All right, you guys, this was a fantastic episode. Of course, it ends with the boy in white pushing Tabitha out. I did see people talk about that. Like, could Tabitha have died? And people did say, like, what if they all are in comas and now him pushing out the window woke her up from the coma? Because they're like, wouldn't she have died from that fall? And they're like, no, there's probably some type of, if we're in sci-fi, when he pushes out the window, she doesn't fall all the way to the ground. She probably fell into a portal, and then which that portal led her to, the hikers finding her. And she's been asleep already for 3 days. So she has 3 day, she's 3 days behind now.
She's 3 days behind. And yeah, that's why I said, maybe boy wife was right. Maybe they are in a coma. Maybe if you die, you're coming out.
Now, what if Jim goes to look for her and then gets pushed out? Jim and maybe another adult, because he's not going to bring his kids. So Jim and another adult gets pushed out. He goes looks for his wife. He gets pushed out. Him and maybe Victor. He demands Victor to show me where you took my wife. And Victor takes him all the way there. And they get pushed out. And now Jim and Tabitha are like, okay, we would be happy, but our kids are still there. So they're freaking out.
I don't think so. Jim is different. I think he's going to lock his kids down then. There's going to be less going out. Everyone's going to know where everyone's at every moment.
No one goes anywhere alone.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like he would go and look for Tabitha.
But I tell you what, it'd be crazier if somebody go looking for Tabitha and she's laying in the same spot that Victor's mom was in.
Victor's mom is not there. Remember, Victor found her body still in front.
Yeah. Victor found her body in front of that tree.
Yeah.
What if Tabitha's body is also in front of that tree? And she's dead now. They think she's dead.
Oh, like in front of the tree? Like somehow she came back?
Yeah. Like what if, I know I said Tabitha, I think it's the only person that made it out besides the sister who could have. But what if Victor's mom made it out? What if when you fall out of that, this is where you come back to. You fall out of that, yeah, you're out there, but your body shows up right here.
I mean, I know I'm laughing, but yeah, anything's possible from Bill.
You don't laugh right in my face.
No, because it just made me think
I see you. I'm looking at you.
No, because I just thought of like, damn, he is grasping at straws, because I keep seeing these theories online, and then people, they will see anything and be like, what if this is fake? What, like, they're coming up with theories and mysteries that are not even part of the show. They just make it a theory, make it a mystery. Next thing you know, someone's gonna say, what if Boyd really wasn't in the military? Like, where'd you come up with that theory? I don't know. Just came up with it.
But look at this. Check this out. The first couple of episodes, could you have pictured what happened in these last couple of episodes?
No, not at all.
I rest my case.
Whatever.
Hey, people, keep doing what you're doing. Come up with these theories. Let's investigate.
Man, just random theories. What if Ethan is Julie's son? Well, they never said that, but I wouldn't be surprised. They said, what if Elgin is Fatima and Ellis's son? So, I mean, the theories are just crazy and wild. And who knows? A year from now, I might be like, oh my gosh, Elgin is Fatima and Ellis's son.
Hey, I believe everything. I believe everything. There's nothing that somebody can say that I don't believe.
Yeah.
All right? Because I could, like, from last season to this season, I mean, it's night and day.
Yeah, we just thought the monsters. It was just the monsters only.
Right.
Yeah. Although sometimes I do hate it when shows kind of, they feel like they gotta keep expounding and changing it. And it's like, no, I liked what you guys started off with, and now it's a different show. It hasn't gotten there yet, but I have a feeling next season's gonna be a very different show with Tabitha on the outside. So we're going to be in real world mixed with old world.
Which we are going to have like a lost thing happening.
Yes. Yeah. Which they started earlier.
Yeah. It's going to be people who made it back.
Yep. And what are they going to say? Like in Lost. Are they going to lie and say the people are dead? Spoiler alert.
No. Why would they do that?
Yeah. All right, you guys, that is all we have. As always, we appreciate you watching or listening. And Gary, I really appreciate you coming on this pod with me today.
Thank you for having me.
You'll definitely have to join more on season 3 of From. Until then, you can definitely catch Gary on the Verdicts In feed or the Walking Dead series by the Verdicts In, where we are going to be covering Dead City. It's a Walking Dead spinoff with Negan and Maggie. So if you enjoyed his take, he is the same way on The Walking Dead, meaning he is strong in his feelings, and we're going to discuss it and disagree and maybe sometimes agree.
A little emotional with it.
Yeah. Slamming things. No, I'm just joking. He's the gem. No, I'm just joking. Because I already said Jim is an asshole, so I can't call you the gem. You are you're your own person. So I don't even know a character in From that I would compare you to. Do you have a character that you like? Oh, I see myself. Maybe Jim.
That I identify with?
Yeah, that you identify with.
I don't identify with Jim. I just say he's the realest character on
I think you would be more like a Boyd.
I don't see that character because, like I said, that I'm not a hero.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in the Conley house. I'm playing cards with him. I'm taking naps.
You're chilling. You're having a good time. I'm chilling.
Yeah, so I can't see any of those characters being me unless there's someone that you just pop. Like the guy who's holding the gun. Is that the first time we seen him?
Reggie?
The one who she told.
Oh yeah, the extra. Yeah, probably. So, I don't know because she said Matthias, but I don't know.
So if that's the first time seeing him, that mean that he's me. That's my character.
That's your character.
He been asleep the whole time, and she woke up and said, "Hey, you got to do something right here.
Yeah,
you have to hold this gun. You have to do something."
I laugh at Dale, but I probably been in Dale. Like, hold up, y'all. We short on food. New people come. We ain't got enough for y'all. Like, for real. I would probably be an asshole. Unfortunately, like, hopefully I would learn, but I would be scared, so I would probably do something bad. Not as bad as Sarah, but, on Dale's level of assholery.
I can see a little Victor in me, too. I can see it.
Measuring the trees.
I can see knowing stuff and not saying stuff because I don't want to be alone.
That is sick. I know how to get out here, but I ain't gonna tell them.
I know how to get out of here, but this is my home.
Yeah, so. It's my home, and I like the more people, the merrier. All right, you guys, if you want to be part of the podcast, hit us up, host@theverdictsin.com. You can also use that email if you're writing into our Walking Dead series, or we also use dead@theverdictsin.com for Walking Dead. But any of our emails you have, if it's from years ago, a year ago, whatever, we still check all of them. So hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. Until next season. Well, actually, I'll be doing some other shows on this streaming here on this pod. So keep in tune into Small Screen Sagas. It's mainly me, where I'm talking about just different shows I watch, probably more than likely on my own. And then shows Gary and I watch together, we would probably more than likely podcast together on, like The Walking Dead.
Right.
And some other things. So thank you. Until then, I'm Nicole.
I'm Gary.
Bye.